Welcome, everyone, to this session of Authors in Conversation. And I'm blessed to have Tory Archbold with me now, who is the author of Self-Belief Is Your Superpower. And isn't that the truth? And Tory, I want to hear all about your author journey. And I also want to hear a little bit about your business attraction program. And the reason for that is that a lot of my authors are writing books to build their business around. And I think you can give us some great advice there, possibly. So take it away, Tori.
Oh, I love that, Jane. And thank you for the great introduction. And I'm all about a mutual exchange of energy and helping the authors that are listening to this chat really step into their power and own their own personal story. Because when you have a personal story, you have a brand story, which actually sells your book, which is really important to understand that. So I guess where did my journey begin? 24 years of age, I backed myself. So I wrote a book about self-belief really is your superpower. And I tapped into that free resource that we all have. And when everyone said, no, you can't start a business, no, you can't take it global, go off, get married, have 3 kids, become an interior designer, and life will look really good, I said to myself, yes, I can do this. And so 20 years at the top of my game, I had one of Australia's top PR and communications agency called Torstar, and we were responsible for creating and launching some of the biggest brand names into Australia, but also iconic Australian names into other parts of the world. So I guess the best one that I'm known for is the launch of Zara. And, it was such an extraordinary experience to work with the team from Indedex. They're obviously the best in the world. And we were responsible for creating that communications plan for that brand, creating the event that launched it, and, the ongoing servicing of that brand's footprint in this market. So we had 22,000 people show up on the day of launch. We did $1 million in sales. But when I say we, it was really team effort. And it's the same when you launch a book. It's you and your publisher or you and your team. So I can't take credit for the Zara launch. What I can take credit for is my part in that launch. And I think that that's a great benchmark, because I do benchmark a lot of what I do from that experience, simply because I believe in the power of brands. I believe in the power of your own personal brand. But I also believe that when you're an author, you need to establish your personal brand and the advocacy of who you are, what you stand for, your values, your intent, and your purpose before you even start writing. Because I feel like a lot of writers write out of ego, but I chose to write out of heart. And I feel that when you can really tap into your intuition and that really strong understanding of what that gift is that you're sharing with the world in the book, you can actually create and deliver a much stronger impact than someone that writes from ego and wants all the accolades.
Absolutely. And so it sounds like you really wrote that book quite a while ago, Tori.
No, well, in my head,
Oh,
Jane,
I
I love it.
see.
In my head, I had
Hmm.
written the book years ago.
Yes.
And again, I started my agency when I was 24. And when I was in my early 40s, was trusting my intuition that there was a book that I wanted to birth. And of course, everyone said, well, you've got no writing experience, you can't do this. Then I came out after we'd launched Drew Barrymore's Flower Beauty into Australia, and I actually shared the power of my own personal journey, which was based on success and survival. And it was really interesting because we had book publishers that wanted the personal side of
Mm.
my story, and that's what they wanted to write, because it had, all those dramatic highs and lows and game-changing moments and, all the glamorous celebrity elements to it. But again, I didn't want to just have a one-hit wonder.
Mm.
And so I chose to back myself and take a different route, which was really, let's create credibility about who I am, what I've been able to create and deliver for other people, what impact that might look like. And so I was really looking for a publisher that could embrace that, because I knew that there were 2 or 3 books that I could write. But if I just went for, the whole, glamorous success story, it was just going to be a one-hit wonder. So I think as an author, you also need to look at your brand and map out, like, what is that journey, not only for the reader, but for the community that you're building
Mm.
around that book. And so I ended up going with a publisher in the US, which was a really great learning experience for me. I've learned so much throughout the process. And now I understand that a book is simply your business card. It is the entree into building a community and sharing your wisdom and creating a legacy piece that can actually show people that challenges can become possibilities. So obviously, the stories in the book are not made up, they're all true. And there are countless others, but I've also shared frameworks within that book. And what I then did with the framework was, we were asked, okay, well, what kind of quotes and who inspires you for each chapter? And I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to create my own quotes. I'm going to create my own chapter outline, because what I recognized was that as a personal brand, and I learned this from all the top brands I worked with around the world, if you want to become a thought leader, you need to believe in the power of the words that you choose to share. And the most extraordinary thing has happened with those quotes that we do at the front end of each chapter. I have people sending us images of them. I mean, one lady the other day was building a house and she wrote, "Self-belief is your superpower," quote Tory Archbold, or "I can and I will," or "A happy heart is a magnet for miracles." So I chose not to use other people's content. I chose to create my own because I believed in what I was creating and I knew that it would launch a brand.
Beautiful. Oh, I love that. Now, what about the business attraction program? Can you tell me a little bit
Mm,
about what's included? Because I attract people not dissimilar to me who aren't youngsters anymore.
mm,
And for one reason or other, and in quite a lot of cases, they've got to the point where they say, no, I'm not inspired by what I'm doing here.
mm.
I want to help people to do what I did that took me an awfully long time and a lot of effort to do that really shouldn't have, and I can make it easier for them.
Yeah, so I attract women exactly like you in your community, which are women and it's really why I wrote the book as well, because my whole thing was, we get to a point in our life where we've all had success in our careers, but then we don't have fulfillment. And we wonder, oh, I thought my purpose was this, but maybe it's something else. I need to reignite that flame within, that passion. And, people have so much to give in their 40s and 50s, but what they don't actually understand what to do is verbalize it, share it, create a roadmap, a strategy to become more visible. So whether you're an author listening to this, or whether you're an entrepreneur or a business leader, like, I hear you because I've been you. As I said, I started my first business when I was 24 and my second when I was 44. So I look at it as two parts of my journey. The first part was I created and built this incredible business. I had 22 staff, 10 freelancers. I attracted the world's best brand celebrities and influencers in my orbit with no money, nothing but self-belief. So what I did was I created a framework, which I also share parts of in the book. And there are free resources as well, Jane, on my website that your audience can tap into. And I created an 8-week program where it's really curated to a small group of women that I get to work with, because I always say, my success is your success. Yeah.
Mm.
If I can help you become a powerful brand, if I can help you sell your novel or build your business or whatever it is that, you're stuck with right now, that is my passion, that is my purpose, that is my runway. So in that program, we actually create and develop your own story.
Oh,
Yeah. And
nice.
as an author, that's really important. I've got 25 years plus experience promoting other people, and I had to learn how to promote myself. So
Mm.
everything that I do in that program is share proven frameworks. Yeah.
Oh,
So we give you the runway of what your story is, how to develop a really strong brand SEO, which is really important as an author as well.
mhm.
If someone's going to Google you, does your book come up? What does Captain Google say about you? How
Right.
do you get that algorithm to work to your advantage? How do you create a website to promote your book? But are you using the right meta tags? Like, what does all that evergreen content look like?
Mm.
And, this part of it is so important, Jane, because, we work a lot in America and Los Angeles in particular with a lot of big writers and publishers over there, and they have no personal footprint. And
Ooh,
they think that their book is going to sell. I'm like, you got to get your brand right before you even launch.
yes.
Because unless you're a big brand name, a lot of these publishing houses, they're not going to touch you.
Mm,
So
mm,
you've got to actually show that you've got the power of a database, a community. What are the open rates when you're actually speaking? How are people engaging with you? How are they commenting? How are they responding? I teach all of that in the program. And so everyone is set up for success. But then what we also do is we layer it by inviting people to connect with other people in our community. So
mm.
it's the power of 3 coffee dates a week, which created and built my first
Oh,
agency,
I love that.
Tallstar. And it's definitely created powerful steps as well. And I encourage everyone, and I talk about it in the book as well. Every week, have a coffee date. And if you don't like coffee, which some, wise ass man commented the other day on LinkedIn, he goes, I don't drink coffee. And I said, that's okay. If you drink tea, use the same concept. It really doesn't matter.
A
But
bloody Coke or something, for God's sake.
I
Maybe
know,
there's a
I'm
bit
like,
addiction here.
he's like having a go at me about you're promoting coffee. And I'm like, I'm promoting connection and community, actually. And connection and community comes down to these 3-tier strategies. Once a week, have a coffee date with someone you know, right? Someone you want to partner with. So that could be a publishing house. It could be someone that you want to share the power of your book on a podcast, a media, TV, whatever, and someone completely outside your comfort zone. And what happens is you start creating forward momentum for your own personal brand. So
Mm,
it's like you emailing me and going, hey, Tori, you're a fellow author. I'd love to collaborate with you. That's like an instant yes for me, because I can go, well, I can actually add value. I can pay forward my knowledge with your community. But if I wasn't showing up using that 5-point story framework and creating the story of my life and becoming visible, I never would have received that email from you with the invitation to do this today. So we really allow people to get out of their own way. And I think a lot of authors, keyboard warriors, and they're exceptionally good at it, but they forget that you need to be visible. They forget that you need to show up. They forget that you actually need to share the power of who you are to attract those opportunities in. And so a lot in that program as well is about get out of your own way,
mm.
own your story to own your power. And I teach everyone a whole lot of really good energy shifts to be able to have the confidence to fly high.
Oh, that's a very powerful sentence there. I love it. And look, you mentioned your website. Will you just tell us what it is here? Because some people
Mm, of
like to
course.
hear, and I'm
Yeah,
a
so I have powerful-steps.com
mm-hmm.
is our main website. And then for the book, we've got Self-Belief is Your Superpower. And the reason why I have 2 different websites is I treat the book as a brand and
Yes,
I treat my business as a brand.
right.
And so, what we also like to do, and this is great information if you're an author as well, is if you actually buy the book, we've created a whole lot of book bonuses so that you can actually sample what's inside that program. And I think that's
Beautiful.
really important as an author. You need to give people a taste of who you are as an author, but
Yes.
also how they can translate those words into forward momentum in their own life.
Mm, beautiful. Tori, I cannot thank you enough. We've covered so much territory in such a short time. So I want to thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome, Jane. And I wish everyone, including you in your community, the most incredible year ahead. And just remember, the best advice that I can give anyone is to get out of your own way as a writer and just show up, because you never know who's looking at the power of what you're creating and who might connect with you to propel you forward in business and life. So
Here,
thank you.
here.